Everybody wants to become more flexible, but let's get real. Nobody's got the time to do an hour of yoga 3 days a week, and there's so many stretches out there, it can get really confusing. But the good news is, if you only did these 6 stretches, which only take about 10 minutes, you'd become super flexible. So follow along to this video. Try to repeat it frequently and watch as your body becomes more flexible. Now, why I picked these 6 stretches is for the following reason. If we look at your shoulders and your hips, the 2 points of your body where your limbs connect and the parts of your body that generally are pretty tight on people, there's really 3 motions that those parts of your body do. If it's your shoulder, we look at reaching the arm up and overhead. We look at reaching the arm back and behind your back, and we look at reaching your arm out to the side like this. Now, with the lower body, it's super similar. It's bringing the leg up like this, it's bringing the leg back like this, and it's bringing the leg out to the side like this. So these 6 stretches are gonna target those 6 ranges of motion to help you gain flexibility really fast. So again, all you have to do is follow along to this video, try to do it frequently, and watch as your flexibility explodes with just 6 stretches. So for the first stretch, we're gonna open up our shoulders by doing a movement called a downward dog. And I'm gonna show you how to do a couple different variations of the downward dog, just in case you can't come all the way down to the floor. So follow along, pick the variation that feels like the right fit for you, and we'll hold them for about a minute or so each. So the first variation is putting your hands on top of a chair or a countertop, or if this is too low, you can even bring your hands up against a wall like this. What you're gonna do is walk your legs back like this, make sure that your elbow pits are pointed up towards the sky, and then drop your chest between your arms like this. And in this position, and in all the stretches, we're gonna take a big belly breath in, and as we exhale, try to relax and deepen the stretch. Now, if that feels like a good stretch for you, fantastic. If it doesn't, and you wanna make it even deeper, we can go into a full downward dog by removing the chair and coming down to the ground like this, bringing our hands to the floor, bringing our feet back, pushing our butt up and back, not worrying about our heels coming down, rather trying to focus on your belly button coming towards your thighs and pushing your fingertips forward as much as possible. Now in this position, we're gonna inhale and exhale and breathe and relax. And while we're doing these stretches, I want you to focus on one really important thing. Don't go to 100% of your available flexibility. Go to about 85% of your available flexibility. Relax and breathe until it becomes 70 and then go back to 85. This helps your body not go into that protection pattern where the muscles get tight. So after you've held this motion for around 1 minute, let's pull the shoulder blades back behind us and let's do a shoulder stretch. So here's what we're gonna do. If you're a beginner, you can do this in a chair, and I'll show you a more advanced variation on the floor. What you're gonna do is scoot to the edge of the chair, bring your hands back behind you, turn your fingertips to the outside, pull your shoulder blades back and down, and lift your chest toward the sky, and lift your face toward the sky too. You don't have to crank your neck backwards, but just really opening the chest as much as possible. In this position, you should feel a stretch coming through your biceps, the front of your shoulders, and even into your chest as you lift your chest nice and high. Now, if you're doing this and you don't feel like it's a deep enough stretch, well, we can always come down to the ground like this, point our fingertips backwards behind us, pull the shoulder blades back and down, lift the chest, and then slowly walk our hips forward until we feel that nice deep stretch. Just as we did before, inhale into the belly, exhale, lift the chest a little more, or walk the hips forward a little bit more. And really try to squeeze the shoulder blades together and drop those shoulders away from your ears. And I want you to be in this position right here. It's about opening the shoulders and creating range of motion and flexibility, okay? Now when you're ready, we can slowly move out of this position. We have one more stretch for the upper body, which we're gonna do on both sides, because this one is really tight on a lot of people. So for this stretch, we're gonna do a chest stretch. I'm gonna do it on the floor like this, but you can do the same exact stretch in a standing position with your arm against the wall. You're gonna turn your thumb upward like this, and your elbow is gonna be slightly higher than your shoulder. What you're gonna do is turn your body away while trying to keep this shoulder close to or in contact with the ground, and what you'll feel is a deep stretch coming through your chest muscles. In this position, you wanna breathe and relax just like you did before. Inhaling, exhaling. If you need to get a pillow for your head too for support, that's totally fine. If you wanna make this more challenging, what you can do is you can try to take this leg and lift it up and drive yourself into a deeper position. Or you can even take your leg and swing it all the way over the back and use gravity to drive yourself into a deeper position. Again, focusing on your breathing pattern, trying to relax into the stretch as you go back and forth from side to side. Okay, so just keep holding this stretch, try to relax. We're gonna go for 15 more seconds as we hold this side. Big belly breaths in, relaxing exhales, letting the chest muscle totally relax, letting everything totally relax. And then slowly, very slowly, come out of that side, and then we're gonna come to the opposite side. Now it's important here, as you're doing this chest stretch, what I want you to focus on is your elbow in the right position? So if you don't feel a deep chest stretch, you can always drop the elbow down a little bit or drop the elbow up a little bit. Play around with the position until you find the position that feels like the right fit for you, okay? So now come into that stretch and try to open the chest as much as possible. Try not to shrug the shoulder too. So if your shoulder on the backside starts to shrug and wants to internally rotate like this, don't do that. Turn your hand or palm towards the sky and drop your shoulder down. And that's gonna help you deepen the stretch and protect your shoulder at the same time. So keep focusing on the breathing. And then deepen the stretch. Again, using this hand next to you, pushing yourself deeper into the stretch, using this foot, pushing yourself deeper, or my favorite variation, lifting the leg up and letting gravity pull you deeper into the stretch, okay? Just keep relaxing and really try to feel the stretch going from your shoulder all the way through your chest and down, ideally into your sternum. So we're really stretching all the muscles that tend to pull our shoulders forward and make our body feel bad, okay? So we're gonna hold this for 10 more seconds. So one more super deep breath into the belly and then, yeah, and relax all the way. Nice job. Now come up and I want you to pause for 1 second before we go to the lower body movements. And I want you to think about, how does your body feel right now? Roll your shoulders, move your arms around. Your upper body should feel really flexible and should feel pretty amazing already. And that's with just 3 stretches. So now we're gonna do the exact same thing for the lower body, all right? So what you need is a towel or a belt or a yoga strap so you can do the hamstring stretch that we're about to do on your back. We're gonna do this one just like before for 60 seconds on the left side, 60 seconds on the right side. So here's how it works. You can do this one in your bed too, which is amazing. Take the towel or the strap, put it over the ball of the foot, okay? So not the arch, not the heel. We wanna be able to pull the toes towards our nose to get the calf involved as we do this hamstring stretch. So you're gonna drop the foot down flat and you're gonna pull your toes towards your nose and this leg up towards you as we find this position and breathe and relax again. Now, if for any reason this leg being flat is bothering you, you can either bend your knee all the way up like this, or you can put a pillow under your knee and keep your leg down a little bit more like this. That's totally fine. Sometimes when people fully extend their leg, it can cause a little bit of pinchy pain on their lower back, and that's because their hip flexors are tight, which is what we're gonna stretch next. But in this position, focusing on the hamstrings, all we're gonna do is get to that 85%, so we feel the stretch in our calf, we feel the stretch in our hamstring, and then we breathe into our belly. And as we exhale, relax and just let that leg come up, okay? And what we can do to make progress is we can start choking up on the towel, on the strap, or maybe eventually we can reach up and even grab our toes, and it no longer requires us to have a towel or a strap to be able to do this hamstring stretch. This one's fantastic. Again, you can do this one in bed right when you wake up, which is a great way to remember to do this particular stretch because so many people have tight hamstrings. Now to switch sides, you can just lift your foot up, put it over the ball of this foot, and drop the other leg down. Again, you can focus on bending this knee if this doesn't feel comfortable, or putting a pillow under the knee and keeping your leg a little bit more straight if that doesn't feel comfortable. Otherwise, in this position, we're gonna pull the toes toward the nose, find our 85, and we're gonna take some big belly breaths in, and exhale as we try to let everything go. Now, with stretching, it's really important to not just do this passively. And what I mean by that is, you're not just thinking about work and responsibilities and things like that. What you really wanna do is this: take your mind and get it in these muscles. Feel where it's tight in your calf, feel where it's tight in your hamstring, really feel where that's at, okay? Now, as you take a big belly breath in, I want you to almost tense those muscles a little bit. Just kind of bring some awareness to the places where it's tight by tensing them. You can tense them by kind of pushing your leg down like this. Now, as you exhale, I want you just to let go. Relax all those muscles. Use your arms to pull yourself deeper into that hamstring stretch and that calf stretch, and just really let the body melt. And you can repeat just like that, getting your mind into those muscles, trying to create a little bit of tension in that spot, and then exhaling and relaxing that hamstring. Okay, now we're gonna go on to the hip flexors, okay? And this is really important because so many people have tight hip flexors, and when we loosen the hip flexors, it can actually make our lower back feel significantly better. A lot of people with lower back pain have tight hip flexors. So one of my favorite ways to do the hip flexor stretch for beginners is to use a chair or a couch. And what you're gonna do is kneel on the chair or couch. If that feels uncomfortable, you can put a pillow or something underneath your knee. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring the other leg forward like this. You're gonna squeeze your glute muscles and tuck your pelvis. Don't let your tailbone stick out, tuck your tailbone under, and then bring your hips forward. As you do this, you'll feel a stretch from the top of the thigh all the way deep into the hip and into the abdomen. So just like before, we're gonna hold this position. We're gonna try to find the tension in our hip flexor. We're gonna take a big belly breath in And as we exhale, what I like to think about is, can I separate my knees more? Can I create more space between my knees and create more space inside my hips, right? We're trying to create length and space. And the difference is this: if I'm creating compression, I look like this, right? Everything's too tight. If I'm creating space, I'm opening everything up and I'm creating space even inside the hip sockets as I do this, okay? And you can use your hand on the back of the chair for support as well. We're gonna hold this one for about 30 more seconds as we breathe into our belly and we relax, focusing on making sure that tailbone doesn't go into this super arched lower back position, but rather we tuck the tailbone under like this, rotating the pelvis to really focus on the hip flexors, okay? If you want to, you can also try this move, which is just bring your arm up to the side a little bit, just a ever so slightly side lean, can sometimes deepen that stretch deep into the abdomen, okay? Now come out of that slowly, and let's rotate to the opposite side. On this side, I'm gonna show you a different variation, okay? So I'm here doing the chair stretch. You can start on the right side, but what I'm gonna show you is a different variation on the floor for people who wanna make this a deeper stretch. You can come into a kneeling position on the floor if that feels comfortable for you. Make sure you got something soft on your knee, hips forward, pelvis tucked under, and then do the floor version of the hip flexor stretch, which can be a lot deeper because you can see my knees are separated a lot further because my front foot is elevated more, okay? Same thing in this position, it's big belly breath in. Exhale, relax. You can bring the arm up and do a little side bend to create more resistance in there. Or if you want to get crazy, what you can do is grab this back ankle and you can start to bring that foot forward into a hip flexor stretch with the back quad a lot more in a flexible position, a more challenging position, okay? So inhale deeply, exhale, and try to bring the hips forward and down towards that heel, and just try to relax into these hip flexor stretches. After this, you only got one stretch left, and then your body should feel absolutely amazing. So slowly come out of this, all right? We're gonna do one final stretch, which is going to be a straddle stretch, and I'm gonna show you two different variations, okay? So if you're a complete beginner, you can do the straddle stretch on a chair, on a cushion, or an ottoman. By elevating the surface of the ground where we're sitting on, we're making this a little bit easier, okay? So bring your legs to the outside. Let's bring your toes up towards your nose. Try to turn the hips out like this. And then all you're gonna do is slowly bend forward until you feel a bit of a stretch on the inside of your thighs, okay? For some people, you're gonna feel a deep stretch just being in this position. If that doesn't feel like a deep stretch for you, what you can do is bring your body down to the ground, keep your feet nice and wide, toes up, toes out. We're trying to externally rotate, tall posture, and then instead of trying to do this, like bring our head towards the ground and just really over rounding our spine, we wanna think about bringing our belly button towards the ground, and you can bring your hands in front of you and pull you forward into that position. So again, inhaling, finding the tension inside the hips, inside the inner thighs, exhaling, pulling yourself a little bit deeper. Again, trying to bring your belly button and your pelvis forward and towards the ground as we stretch the inner thighs right here, okay? We're gonna hold this position for about 15 more seconds, and then we're gonna come out of it, and we're gonna check in with our body and see how your body feels, okay? 9 more seconds, one more belly breath in. Find that tension, exhale, let it go. See if you can reach the deepest part of the stretch for yourself, and then slowly, slowly, slowly walk yourself out of that stretch. Now, check in with your hips, check in with your body. How does your lower body feel now that you've done these stretches, okay? Your upper body felt good, your lower body should also feel good. And again, it's just 6 stretches that you can do to make your body feel amazing. Now, you can keep coming back to this video and doing these 6 stretches over and over again. Or if you want short stretching routines just like this, with more stretches that will make your body feel even better, well, that's what we do at WeShape. So if you're interested in gaining more flexibility with routines as short as 10 minutes, all you have to do is click the link below to learn more.